Here we go again with another look at the elevated rail station as it has been updated since you last saw it. I have left it pushed in away from the edge of the table this time so you can get just a better look at it, an easier look at it from more natural angles. So since the last time, I've done a fair amount of changing up of stuff. I have decided to push back the red in the color scheme a little bit. And so the arch has been moved back behind the fence on the upper level to reduce its prominence. And I also lowered it, physically lowered it in height as far as reasonably possible. So I still get that arch shape at the top, but it doesn't stick up nearly as much. And I think that the proportions are just better now. I also increased the size of the main canopy there, the main yellow canopy, just spread it out horizontally, and did a little bit of further experimentation with the kind of side canopies over here, over the stairwells. Added in the red, the horizontal red run going along here, and also added in the floor in white, which was a decision not made by me, but rather by the classic airport shuttle set, monorail set that I'm trying to pay homage to with this whole build. And I think I haven't done an exterior white floor yet on anything. I'm looking around as I say that. I don't see anything. So, it's something a little bit different. I like to change things up as frequently as possible. And then added just this little bit of detail. I've done all sorts of little miniature design studies using the half round and quarter round little tile pieces, trying to make, like nice looking patterns. And I did some larger ones, and I ended up just going with this for now for each of these little sides next to where the stairs come up. Kind of represents trains coming in to this station. The arch in the middle is represented there in red, and then the orange things represent the cabs of trains moving in, and then the little grills kind of represent a little bit of motion blur of the train trailing towards you. I had to get some orange in there. I tried moving the stripe up and down, tried different relative thicknesses of the yellow and the white around it and stuff, and it just wasn't working. And I wanted to get a pattern in here, so this is how I ended up doing it, to keep some orange in there. Of course, orange is an absolute necessity, must be kept in here. It's included with some prominence in every single thing that's related to my passenger railway. You've seen that already up to this point. It is a trademark kind of mark, or part of the brand of the passenger rail company or authority. And so that has to be in there, and I also still have the stripes along the back, and that's not quite prominent enough, but I feel like I got enough of that in here. It's a little bit difficult to try to ape the color scheme of the airport shuttle set while also trying to do something a little bit different, while also trying to make this integrate in with the era of the city and just the aesthetic of the rest of the rail system. So this does have definitely its own personality, definitely has some calls over, some very strong calls over to the airport shuttle set as intended, but it still has its own personality, which is good. Haven't done anything new downstairs for the floor, except just a little bit around the elevator. That's just really basic, the whole elevator thing, the way that's being set up. I do want to show you this from the other side, though, a little bit. I'll just try to do it with the zoom from the other side of the table, but you see back around the elevator, the handicap access elevator, the black tube, square tube around the back. I added in some of those support pieces, and that just looks right to me. It's the kind of look that I was going for this whole thing, having some exposed framing like that. And not much of that is going to be visible from streets and such, with the buildings that are going to be placed right where this is presently temporarily sat. Once it gets moved back where it's going, it's all going to be buildings, as has always been the plan. Just a row of buildings going all the way out to here, and just continuing all the way down, all custom buildings all the way down to the end, and the rail station will be moved to its final location. I did see a number of questions, good questions about adding in a connector to the main rail line. Or two major reasons I'm not going to have a rail stop off this main 6-wide line here. First of all, it's primarily a freight line, mostly a cargo line, this outer one. So I do not want freight trains coming directly past, and coming right up to a passenger platform. That just is not something that I would be happy with. Also, there's not that much room, to be honest. There's really not enough room within the space that I allotted for this project to put in a lower connector. But there shouldn't be a lower connector to the main line because, like I said, that is a primarily freight line. It goes out towards the mountain, whereas the actual passenger line is the inner loop, and that already has the station over there at the edge, so at one edge of the table, and that's doing its job, and then it has the other station there, which is also a connector. So it's more of a sensible actual rail system, where not everything stops everywhere, not everything is connected to everything, but you do have the ability to, as a minifigure, to transfer between the different modes of public transportation. And again, of course, you must possess an imagination for a little bit of that suspension of disbelief to understand that, yes, minifigures, if this were real, could just walk from here over to there, because they could also easily just walk from there all the way to the opposite corner of the entire table in just a matter of minutes. So nothing here is realistic at all, but with the help of imagination, then you can start to make sense of it and start to kind of get into the minds of the Lego people and kind of how Lego scale can work. So that's that for today's update. And the next thing I'm going to be working on is definitely the ground level down here, since I've not done anything there. I'm going to go ahead and mirror the edge over from this side to the other with the ticket machine and also the entry gates. And then once I have that done, I can start figuring out what I'm going to do to connect the stairs up there. And the stairs may get a little bit more steep. This is currently using just the standard rise, Lego's kind of global standard rise rate angle, but I could go just slightly steeper than that if I choose to, if I want to make things fit a little bit better. And I also have the option of possibly having a small landing and having those turn inward if need be. I don't think I'll need to do that. There's also the possibility of zigzagging them back and forth. I really haven't looked into that, but I do have some space back behind here in what's left of the alleyway to potentially come outward and then go in and leave a lot more open space on the ground floor within there, and then I could possibly put some little kiosks in there or something. It's not really what I want to do. Again, I want to keep this pretty lightweight, but I'll be looking into that, all that stuff, the next time I work. Just wanted to show you what's been done since you last saw this, and that's it. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.